Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tassie, and today I'm talking about Michael the Demon. So, I discovered a lot of you guys have questions still about Michael. And brief overview, I did like an hour-long video. That whole video is actually on my other channel on Tassie Eats, youtube.com/Tassie Eats. It was like an hour long, and I didn't want to upload it to this channel because I didn't have the time to just sit there and wait for it. So, very briefly, that in a nutshell, it talked about me growing up, a lot of the weird experiences. At the time when I filmed that video, though, I was not prepared to tell my general audience that I was a shaman. And then everything kind of led up to now this channel and how I have finally admitted it. And so because my stories weren't really making too much sense because I was cutting out all of this stuff. And so I realized a lot of you guys still have questions about my time with Michael. And briefly, Michael attached himself to me when I was about 9, 10 years old, around then. And he was with me until I was about 23, 24. And then that is actually when I became a shaman. And that essentially is how I was able to get rid of Michael. So Michael was a demon, and no, Michael is not his real name. I dubbed him Michael because I couldn't pronounce his real name. It was a really long, weird name, and I Americanized him. I gave him the name Michael. That's right. So anyways, this video is going to be going over a few questions I've received about the whole story with Michael. And then at the very end, I'm going to answer just a couple of questions and random questions. So the first question I had was, I wrote this down. That's why I'm looking. I actually wrote it down this time. So why didn't my guides stop Michael? And were they with you the whole time? So when I was born, I was supposed to be a shaman. However, what happens is if you don't accept it, you are more susceptible to heavier, darker things. Michael was attracted to me, and so it was something that was really strong, and I was not a shaman, a practicing shaman. I did not go get the rest of my spirit guides and actually do the whole shebang. So Michael was able to attach himself to me because of that. Now, they also asked, did I realize it from the start? Was my behavior odd? Kind of like, did I go into any type of possessions? And did other people realize that I was weird? No. Okay, so first off, yes, I was aware when he attached himself to me the first time. And that story was I was in bed, and then something punched me in my stomach, and I woke up, and then I heard a voice telling me not to move, pretend I'm sleeping still. And then I basically tried to psych myself, no, just look, but I could sense that he was standing at the end of my bed. And then as I made the motion to get up, he punched me again, and then I blacked out. So growing up, though, I've had a lot of those experiences where demons would come, and then as soon as they grab me or touch me, I would black out. So I've been doing that since I was a kid. Anyways, I have not done that since Michael. Since Michael, that was the last time that happened to me, especially now that I'm an adult. That has never happened to me since then, so I'm thankful for that. But anyways, so I didn't have my guides, but I had some guides with me, but they were the clairvoyant type. They weren't the strong ones that can actually fight and defeat demons. So those clairvoyant ones I've mentioned in many videos, they can't do anything. They can just tell you he's there, but they can't actually push it off or anything like that. And plus, I was able to see ghosts and demons since I was really young as well. So, and seeing them in real life when I'm awake and everything. And I wasn't like possessed. So, like The Exorcist, the movies. It's not like that. Well, for me, anyways, and with Michael. Michael never possessed me, like where I'm not aware and he's controlling me or anything like that. It was never like that. Michael was kind of like weird. Okay, like I'm trying to find a good way of wording this. He would basically, in essence, he thought he was protecting me. Michael's goal was to protect me, and he had a really funny way of doing it. He would basically, in the end, and when I became really terrified of him, is he would hurt people around me. Based off of my emotions. So if I wasn't happy with somebody, if I got into a fight with somebody, he would purposely go and hurt them, like to the point where he's trying to kill them. So it's not like He's just trying to cripple you or something. He's trying to kill them. So, it was very different. um, that just sounded terrible. I'm sorry. So Michael was really crazy. And the time that I did try to ignore him and just pretend he wasn't real, because I'm really tired of that life of seeing things and not being normal. So I pretended that he wasn't there. I didn't interact with him. I didn't talk to him. So he actually made me go into physical harm. Never to like cripple me or anything like that, but basically he would do tricks to like make me call out to him. And then that's when he would come and save me and be like, see, I'm amazing for you. No, not when it's him who's doing it to you. So, it was a really unhealthy type of demonic relationship. Yes, that's Michael in a nutshell. And some people are like okay with that. Yeah, I'm not okay with that. I try to live, especially like for people who don't know these things about me, I try to live a really normal life. A lot of people, they see me with a really bubbly and outgoing type of personality. They don't see that I'm actually crazy. So they don't see that part because I don't go around sharing it to random people I just meet. It takes a long time before I actually tell people this. And even then, it's like we had to have developed a really strong and good relationship. So, to anybody who randomly meets me, so don't just be like, she's that crazy demon lady, okay? Now, people were also asking me, how did Michael imprint on me? So I had mentioned previously in a video about how I feel like he imprinted on me somehow because Michael was a very, very strong demon. And one of my super close girlfriends, who also happens to be a shaman, she didn't know about Michael until I told her much later in life when, like we've been shaman friends already for a long time. And then I told her and she went into physical pain just thinking about him because Michael's still alive. You guys, Michael was never destroyed as what some people would say. I was actually hidden from Michael so that he can't find me. Now, if he's still looking for me, that's the different story. So anyways, probably, yes. The answer is yes, because it's because of, it's just like when ghosts and stuff sense you and see me, like they have a strong attraction to my light and my aura. And so they see me as something that's very important to them. And the thing is, my spirit guides are telling me that they've hidden me very well from him so that he can't find me because he's not good for me. So some people who, maybe you're going through a really hard time in your life, you might think that it's a great thing, a great asset to have something like that with around. No, it's not. It's not. I'm just gonna tell you this right now. It's not, okay? Like, it's really a hostile situation where you don't know how to get rid of him because no other shamans were ever able to see him. Nobody could ever sense him around me. Nobody could ever see him. My younger sister, she did see Michael before though. And so that was like, it felt great that she saw him because, it's like another justification that I'm not super crazy. And so, anyways, but a lot of people did know about him. And Michael did tell me once that a friend of mine that I used to be friends with, I'm not friends with him anymore, but this person always tried talking to Michael because Michael likes to follow people around. Anyways, he likes to follow people around and come back and like say things, but it's kind of like he's looking out for me to see what kind of person this person is. And this particular individual is not somebody who's in my life anymore, but it's because they weren't a great person. And so Michael would purposely follow them around because he didn't see them as a good person for me. And he would make judgment calls as well on his own. But back to the story about this question about him imprinting on me. So I feel like he's imprinted on me because when I do come across other demonic entities, they stay really far away from me and they always watch me though. They're very, very aware. But it's like they knew. I get this feeling that it's like they knew that Michael had some type of protection bubble around me, so they do tend to stay away. Now, I do wonder though if Michael was kind of like it was meant to be in my path. That way I can prepare myself if I ever come across another demon who is as strong as Michael was. Michael, for a demon to be so intelligent to know not to possess me, I don't okay, he could not possess me. My spirit guides are saying that he couldn't possess me, but and it's all because of different abilities that a shaman would have, and because I'm a shaman and those were my type of abilities, Michael could not possess me, but he needed me, and he wanted to. They're saying he wanted to koke. Sorry, my mom. They, which basically translates to he wanted to like teach me things. And everything he was trying to teach me was like really bad stuff, so it was just, he's just kind of bad all around. Anyways, so but I feel that he's imprinted on me because of those situations that I've been in, where a lot of ghosts and demons, they tend to stay really far from me, and the ones who do come around me, it's because they're always trying to ask me for help. And I think that they're super annoying, so I really ignore them. And I just want to say, like, a lot of you guys might be like, why don't I help them? Like, you have the ability to. Why don't you go do it? Okay? You can go do it. You can go sign up and do it yourself. Because I, I hate things being forced on me. And I feel like a lot of these abilities that I received, etc., I was born with, it's not like I wanted it. And until, like, when you've grown up with this all the time and it's there in the back of your mind and you want to like just be normal, you want to have a carefree kind of life, you don't want to have to worry about worldly things, it's not something that I signed up for, and it's not something that I was like super excited for. So it's just that is my attitude about it, because I don't like being forced into things, and this was forced on me, okay? So that is basically a nutshell about Michael. Trying to think if I answered all the questions. Yeah, Michael was just weird. Even now, like when I talk about him, I feel like he was an old friend who I used to have. And that's kind of it, because he was with me for so long. He always appeared in front of me. He would say things to me all the time. He would come in my dreams and talk to me all the time. He would chase me around wherever I went. And especially like if I'm going somewhere or about to do something, he would always tell me things. It's almost like it's my spirit guides, but it's not. So the biggest difference, in case you're wondering, because Michael tends to do a lot of things like what you would think a spirit guide would do, but he's demonic. Okay, don't forget that part. So yeah, my spirit guides will heal somebody, will help somebody, but Michael was wanting to teach and show me just really evil things, like, oh, you can do this and this and this and this to this person, like just take your pick. Which one do you want? So, and I feel like it was a good lesson in life about him, just because it really made me aware of how evil things can be. And so another thing with, because Michael was with me for so long, and especially if I could feel his rage, that is how I'm able to kill and destroy demons. Because some of you guys might not know this, but a lot of shamans, they actually will not kill a demon. They will actually hide themselves from the demon, or they will avoid it at all costs. And a lot of times they will call another god or goddess to actually take care of the demon. So they actually won't do it. So for me, it's really different. And I think a lot of it had to do with, because Michael was with me for so long, it's kind of like I saw how a demon was. And so it's a lot easier for me if I was approaching a demon or I came across a demon to just kill it, because it's easier to just do it and get it over with. Now, some other random questions. I was asked a while ago and I completely forgot this question, so I had to write it down. Do I tell people, like if I meet people randomly, do I tell them that they have a ghost on them? No. Like, no. Like, and that goes hand in hand with, I don't tell people these things about me, like that I just meet. It's like, so even if I'm at a house party or I just met somebody and there is like this dark ass thing on them, not my problem. Not my problem. Seriously, it ain't my problem. I will never tell somebody that. I feel like it's almost like an invasion of privacy. Kind of like if I met you and I know you're cheating on your husband, it's like I'm not going to tell you that. It is somebody's privacy. They are allowed that. I feel like they should be given that, and if they openly ask me, I may tell them, but more than likely I'm going to be inclined to pretend I don't know anything. And really, it's like I'm not a shaman and they're not asking me in a proper way to ask a shaman. So I'm not going to be inclined to tell somebody that. And then I was asked if this individual was meant to be a shaman or supposed to be, but they postponed it for a few years. However, they've been feeling that they can sense a lot of things and they're just wondering if that's normal. And yes, it is normal. So like take me for example. I've taken my shrine down and I'm no longer an actively practicing shaman. However, I still have a lot of the abilities that I did have when I was a shaman. So it's very, very possible still if you start to get senses and you start to feel things as if when you technically would be a shaman. So it's very possible still. And then because of my last video, I had mentioned about making sure if you raise a small little shrine, just so you're feeling okay and so that your spirit guides have something so they don't bug you, is it important to cleanse yourself? It is important to cleanse yourself. So cleansing yourself, you will feel instantly better. Like it's this weird feeling like internally you're being washed. I don't know why, but even now if I cleanse myself, even though I'm not practicing shaman, whenever I do it, it like sends chills down my spine. I don't know what it is. It's just magical. So yes, it is important to cleanse yourself, especially, okay, the minute you are aware you are supposed to be a shaman. Okay, all of this is about information and knowledge. Once you are aware, you should know better. That's kind of how it goes. So even if you're like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I do know people who found out that they were shamans and then they are like drunk and then they like somebody hands them dirty food or something and then they say, oh no, like it just comes out. They're like, oh no, I can't because I'm supposed to be a shaman. I can't be drinking that or eating that. And then boom, just like that, they become sober. So so all of that is, like that journey and that acceptance, it is on the individual. So even if, let's say you found out you're supposed to be a shaman and you internally have accepted it, but you don't have a shrine and you're not actively practicing and you don't have a teacher, because you have acknowledged it and accepted your spirit guides, you are already on your journey to become one. So even though you're postponing it, you're not ready to fully do it and go head in first, you've already accepted it and it is all about a passage of knowledge. And so you have to be really aware of these things. Obviously, a lot of people are not going to be aware of these things unless someone like me tells you, but that's actually how it works. So technically, a whole shrine and everything, it doesn't validate that you are a shaman. It doesn't, all right? What is a shrine, all right? So a lot of this stuff, it's all like monetary gains. It's all like physical stuff. But a shaman is all internally and spiritual. Only you go through that journey. You can have as many teachers as you want. You can have as many best friends who are shamans as you want. You all go through your own individual journey. So even if you are very sad or upset that you don't have a shrine and you feel like, there's nobody helping you, it is your own internal journey. You don't need a shrine. Look at me. You don't need a shrine, you guys. As long as you are accepting of it yourself and you've accepted your spirit guides and you've accepted your path, you can find your own peace, all right? You don't need it to be traditional. So, and this all goes hand in hand with, like, I get a lot of questions from other people sending me emails and stuff about, like, they're a teacher that they found, but they don't like how their shrine looks because they don't feel like it's how this should really be for them. And they don't like this and that about their lineage, but because that happened to be their teacher and that's their teacher's teaching, that part, the mirroring of it's a mirror I'm talking about. So that part, the mirroring of your teacher, it's all tradition. That's it. You guys, it is tradition. You mirror that teacher until you are your own shaman. So basically, they raise you until your final level. When you are at your final level, your teacher lets you go. Yeah, they are still a resource that you can rely on in the future, but you're no longer their teacher, so you're their student, so they don't do a lot of free stuff for you anymore. Now you got to pay like everybody else. But it means you are your own shaman now. So if you didn't like your shrine this whole time, change it up. Who's going to stop you? You are your own shaman now. All of that is just tradition. All right. So always remember that. I always say it, tradition versus the actual religion. Okay. And then this was a weird one. Is it bad for other shamans to know you're gifted? No. I understand the reasoning behind it though, and I've talked about it in another video about, like the taboo questions about the shaman community, Hmong shaman community. I'm trying to word this nicely. So a lot of the older generations, they go through like feng, which is cursing, trying to hurt other shamans, trying to hurt other people, etc., etc. I don't witness that with younger generations anymore. It's not like, oh, they're trying to hurt me. I don't really know, but for my own experiences and the shamans I do know, they don't really go through that. I mostly only hear older generations talking about that. So the fear behind not letting a lot of people know and etc. And it's just a fear because you don't know people's intent being shamans. You don't know if they are a good person. And they could be the nicest person, but they're the most evilest of all. So, it's just, so there is that stigma, like, is it bad? It's just, maybe I'm coming from a totally different place, but it's just, there's always been a huge shroud of secrecy around the shaman community. And people don't realize it, but a lot of people need help. And so if nobody's helping, because everybody's in this secret bubble, it's very hard to break through. Very hard. Believe me. I know. So it's just, there is a lot of secrecy, trying to protect themselves. And it's not bad to tell people. It's not like you're going around like that pastor salad guy. Okay. This is totally pop culture. So there's this video, and I haven't seen all of it. There's this guy named Pastor Salad. Or is this Salah? I don't know. But anyways, it's supposedly he's like this super amazing healer, right? So if you're not going around acting like you're Pastor Salad, it's okay. And again, I've never actually seen a full video. I don't really know the whole details, nitty gritty about him. I just hear it as a joke. It's like the memes that have been popping up on the internet. All right, now the last question is mistaking spirit guides as Kuning. I think what they mean to ask... Okay, so again, in other videos I mentioned, everybody has spirit guides. However, I think the question is, when you say Kuning is literally spirit guides, right? But then typically when you say Kuning though, you are more referencing a shaman's type of spirit guides. So again, everybody has spirit guides. However, I think what they're trying to get to is, are you supposed to be a shaman? Or what's the difference between someone who's not a shaman and they have spirit guides and a shaman and their spirit guides? It is all in your papers. So I've mentioned it in the Hmong shaman religion or belief. Everybody's born with papers, and that depicts your life, right? So everybody has spirit guides. However, not everybody's path is to become a shaman, if that makes any sense. So, there are some people who they have to be a shaman in this lifetime. They can never run away from it. It will happen. And so, that is what I mean by in your papers could say after your first child, you must raise a shrine and you must be an active practicing shaman. My papers might be like, you're gonna do it when you're younger, and then you're gonna wait for a long time, and then you're gonna do it again. So it's just like everybody has different papers. And then some people who still have spirit guides in their papers, though, they will not be a shaman in this lifetime, or they could choose to pass it off and have somebody else be a shaman for them. So, and in that saying, you guys, if you pass off your spirit guides to somebody else to do it for you, like to do the whole shaman wanting thing, you are not like all your spirit guides are gone and you're out there alone in the world. It's not like that, okay? You're still gonna have spirit guides. It's just the ones who can do the shaman stuff, they're gonna go with wherever you send it off to. I think that's all the questions. So in my next video, I'm going to be talking about how to tell if a ghost is following you. And then I'm going to tell you guys a really interesting story about a scenario once that happened to me at the Mall of America, and it scared me. So until next time, you guys. Bye, everybody.